Hi, and welcome back to the Inside of My Head, where I've just finished watching Monster Hunter Legends of the Guild, which is going to be my entry point into the Monster Hunter universe, which is amazing considering that Monster Hunter was first released all the way back in 2004 on the PS2 and has become Capcom's second best-selling series after Resident Evil. Now, if you don't know anything about the Monster Hunter series, on the surface it's a pretty simple game where you go out into the wilderness and find footprints and dung and track down your monster and engage it and kill it. But there's a lot more to it than that. There's a plethora of weapon types, and you choose how to make the kill and whether to use camouflage and stalk your monster or whether to climb on it, and there's many different approaches to take. So whether you're just a casual gamer or you want to get balls deep into it, you can. Wait, maybe that's not the right analogy, but you know what I mean. So I'm downloading the game as we speak, and let's check out Legends of the Guild to see if this is a franchise for me. We start with Hunter Aiden on a ship, hunting the volcano-like monster Zora Magdaros, which can supposedly level a city with one swipe of its tail. He tells the cocky hunters of the fleet that he's faced an Elder Dragon in the past and that they have no idea what they're dealing with. You see, Elder Dragons in Monster Hunter are like the most powerful beings of the monster kind, and I quote, monsters that are far removed from the known tree of life. The very appearance of an Elder Dragon is enough to cause natural phenomena and disasters, and much remains unknown about them. They include Behemoth, Corvataroth, and my personal favourite, Nergiganti. Look at this thing, it's terrifying. Anyway, we flash back to years earlier with a younger wannabe hunter Aiden living in his idyllic village at the foot of a dam holding back a massive lake. Now remember this lake and the dam, it's going to be important later. So Aiden is asked by this farmer guy to track down the monster that's been stealing his chickens, and he
Stop stealing my chicken!
finds these Velociprey tracks and follows them. Now these Velociprey sound like fodder to me, resembling Dromaeosaurid dinosaurs. Dromaeosaurid are these, look, they're like these sometimes feathered, sometimes not running dinosaurs. The Velociprey have these blue scales with black stripes and a dull red crest on their heads, yellow eyes, and a white belly. They're carnivorous monsters and they travel in packs and inhabit many different environments. That's the description I just read. Anyway, following the Velociprey tracks, Aiden is quickly attacked by a large Velocidrone. And even though he's kind of outmatched, he's helped by Guild Ace Hunter Julius. Oh god, look at this guy. It's really amazing to me how some of the character design in video games can often create these incredible looking characters and then... But, you know, I guess somebody somewhere thought he looked badass, so they went with it. Anyway, Julius tells him that the Velociprey tracks he was following were fake. And Aiden figures out that they were created by this thing. Now, this thing is a palico. If you don't know this franchise, there are these cat-like helper creatures that follow you around, called palicos. Anyway, Julius explains that Aiden's village is in the path of an Elder Dragon's migration. The Elder Dragons embark on a migration called the Elder Crossing, and because Elder Dragons affect the ecosystem around them, they can release a huge amount of energy. And for some unknown reason, all of the Elder Dragons are migrating to this one spot, and the migrations are becoming more and more frequent. Julius is on a mission to find out why. When the villagers refuse to leave their village, Aiden goes with Julius to see the Elden Dragon for himself and bear witness, I guess. It's a bit weird that the villagers would believe a local teenager over a hunter of the guild just because, oh, he's an outsider and we don't believe him. But anyway, they grab the cat and they use him as a mule and off they go. On the journey, Julius explains that the Hunters Guild was formed to counter the overhunting of monsters of days gone by. Aiden gets his first set of armor before they're caught in a stampede of monsters running from the flames of the Elder Dragon Lunastra, which according to sources has a prominent mane, large fangs, and a distinct crest that resembles a sort of crown. Her wings are covered in fur, and she's the female counterpart to Teostra, which unlike other monsters, they use their flame sac to produce a fire-breathing effect, rather than just a beam or a fireball. Then Julius is like, okay, I'm off to warn the other villagers now, but Aiden is like, please stay. Like, dude, what are you doing? You're walking out on us now? But Aiden talks him into staying and diverting the course of the beast, and Julius is like, alright. So back on the hunt, the guys find a wooded area covered in webs when they're attacked by a Nerscylla, a spiked-back four-legged beast that can shoot balls of webbing. It also has a large stinger at the end of its body, and that contains a tranquilizing fluid that can cause you to go to sleep. So at least you won't be conscious when it fucking eats you. And the spikes on its back are apparently poisonous. And this is a battle that sees the introduction of another wannabe hunter called May, who has a rhinoceros beetle for a companion and these fairy wings, which she never fucking uses. And Aiden gets webbed up and dragged around, and no sooner does he get out of that web cocoon, does he get webbed up again, this time with his feet stuck to the ground, restricting his movement. Dude, you're useless! May spears the Nerscylla before we meet another ace hunter, a gunner called Nadia, and they visit the closest blacksmith to get tooled up, and it turns out that this guy used to be a hunter too, and yes, of course he's gonna get involved later, there's no doubt about it, look at him. They return to Aiden's village with their new allies and begin to fortify the place before Julius mentions his plan of using the monster's upheaval at the hand of the Lunastra's migration to draw the monsters out and get certain supplies.
Our advantage. There are some things we need that we can only get from monsters.
So there's a battle with this. And I don't even know where to start describing this thing. This is a Congalala. Fuck, even its name is annoying. And it has a yellow mushroom in its tail which can give it belch power. Yes, seriously, it can belch out this noxious green gas which can cause paralysis. It can also pump out its belly and do a belly flop in a couple of rather cartoonish moves. Less cartoony though are these long claws that it has, which look like they could rip you in half if you hadn't died laughing already, that is. Anyway, if this thing wasn't goofy enough already, it does this. And yes, it farts out a bunch of green gas, which paralyzes May, when on top of everything, a Deviljho bursts out of the trees to fight with the Congalala, and the paralyzed May is caught in the middle. Take me. And this monster design is much better in my eyes. It walks on its rear legs like a T-Rex does, with the two underdeveloped arms at the front and a mammoth spike-covered tail counterbalancing that head, which has a narrow snout and a large lower jaw covered in multiple rows of teeth spreading outwards from the mouth. Deviljho is capable of producing a mysterious clouded emission that can be shot out of its mouth in a steam at prey, and it looks like it's got these strands of energy or electricity pulsing through it, which makes it look fucking awesome. Anyway, Julius gets stabby with it and finishes it off before, yes, it's not like we didn't see that coming, but the Smith shows up and builds them a giant crossbow, which I think is called a ballista. Like one damn thing you get on your foot when you walk too much. Yes, Rory. Yes. Anyway, the Lunastra shows up and it looks pretty cool, and although the blacksmith has to sacrifice himself, they use the arbalete to bring it down fairly easily. But of course, that's just round one, as the Luna is back up again and no time bearing down on the village again. May is killed when she takes on the monster 1v1 to save some villagers. She probably should have used those fairy wings. What is the point of having fairy wings if they're just fucking ornamental? Anyway, this is before the beast uses its dust-spreading attack, where it produces a highly flammable powder and by using her wings spreads it across the air. After this, she gnashes her teeth to create a spark, which then causes the powder around herself to ignite and explode, and it's a devastating attack. Aiden blows up the dam that's holding back the lake, which smothers the beast's flame and carries it away in the flood. So the balance of the nature is restored, but the blacksmith is dead, May is dead, the village is fucked, and Julius is still a pretentious looking prick.
I've got feelings too, you know.
So it all ends back on the ship from the start, with older Aiden leaving on a quest to find out why the Elder Dragon's migrations are increasing in frequency. So Legends of the Guild was okay. Longtime fans of the series might have found more Easter eggs and references, which would have given it more resonance, but to me, it didn't really spur me on to look into this universe any further. But that does not mean that I'm not gonna. I did wonder why they chose the Lunastra out of all the amazing creatures that seem to be in this universe. You know, not that there's anything wrong with the Lunastra, it looks cool and everything, but there are far more fearsome bad guys, or the far more interesting ones to me. But again, as a bit of a Monster Hunter newbie, maybe there's some special significance that I'm not quite aware of. That said, I might just chalk Legends of the Guild up as a little piecemeal taster of the universe, and although it didn't exactly blow me away, I'm not going to let it put me off either. And like I said, I'm downloading the video game as we speak, so I will let you know. As always, thank you guys very much for taking the time to watch this video, and I will see you very soon for the next one. Cheerio, bye!